the things that makes Bluey so beloved, besides its amazing storytelling, is the richness of details and Easter eggs present in every episode. For instance, did you notice that the movie poster for the film Bluey Goes to Sea with Bandit and Bingo in the cinema episode is actually spread around various places in the city where she lives? In the Quiet Game episode, we can spot a small poster for the Chunky Chimp movie next to the escalator leading to the toy store the Healers are heading to. Moreover, we can see it again plastered on the side of a bus that stops at the bus stop where Bluey's neighbor was waiting. This makes it clear that the movie seems to be a huge hit and its screening has been going on for quite some time. Did you notice this detail during the Bluey episodes? We've got several others for you to check out now. It seems that besides Chunky Chimp, the other most famous children's attraction in the world of the Blue Puppy is Cat Squad, which the characters love to watch. Muffin even has a tricycle from the show itself. And if you look closely, you'll see that behind Bandit there's both a kind of Cat Squad lunchbox and a stylized tricycle, similar to Muffin's, just above the lunchbox, showing that this really must be the most successful series among the pups in the show. In the same episode, if we look behind Bluey and Bingo, inside the same toy store, we'll notice a reference that practically no one caught. A little further up, we can see a sign with a group of 5 dolls printed on it. This is a clear reference to the game Among Us, especially if we notice that all the characters wear clothes of different colors and have a glass visor on their heads, which shows that someone working on Bluey's creation also enjoys group and survival games. In the surprise episode, we notice another interesting new detail that we can say is a novelty. Among the stairs of the Healer's house, there are several different paintings, but we notice what appears to be a new one. A photo of Uncle Radley apparently on the beach alone, right at the beginning of the first steps. Furthermore, we also notice another masterpiece of abstract art made by one of the girls and placed in the Healer family's living room. There's a new drawing that shows someone in a very round shape and with Bingo and Chili's colors. By deduction, we can imagine that this was a drawing of the girls trying to portray the new version of Aunt Brandy, who is now pregnant and awaiting the birth of the girl's new cousin. Surely that's it, or one of them meant to say that Chili is a bit overweight, which I think would be something she wouldn't like at all. So, in honor of the newest mommy who will surely bring another very cute little pup to Bluey's series soon, let's comment #Brandy. You may not know it yet, but in the Healer family's room, there's a copy of one of the great works of contemporary art. If we look closely, we'll notice the painting of a person sitting with a black dress and a kind of white fabric on her head. This is a reference to the painting by the famous Spanish painter Goya, called Portrait of Katrina, made in the 19th century. Indeed, it seems that Bandit and Chili are fans of art. In the first season, in episode 18, we see the kids playing hospital, where Bingo is the doctor and Bluey works at the reception and customer service. And one of the main reasons the kids consult with the doctor is a toy crocodile that attacks both Lucky and Snickers. This is the same stuffed crocodile that Grandpa Mort uses in the game in the Phones episode, which happens almost 100 episodes later, already in the 3rd season, creating a connection between the 2 episodes after several years. Another Bluey toy that also has a reference that practically no one noticed is a small lizard that the girls have as a toy. It's the same pet that appears on the lap of one of the people at the veterinary clinic. Both appear in the same episode, but we had also seen the doctor flying through the air a few episodes earlier, showing that the girls' toys are always reappearing in the series. Now, let's talk about a detail that hardly anyone noticed until today, and it's a bit gross. Are you ready? In an episode of the 3rd season, the Healers hire a team to make a pond in their garden, and when the girls are talking to the boss about Chippy, we see the 3 of them from behind, while Chippy talks to his girlfriend on the phone. And if you look closely at this moment, we'll notice that the boss's plumber's crack is showing in the scene, which suggests that maybe he should start taking it easy with the ice cream or buy slightly bigger clothes. Many people didn't notice, but in the dance mode episode, right at the beginning, we can see several clues as to how the episode will unfold, at least in part. Right in the early moments of the show, at the restaurant where the family is eating, if you look at the walls, you'll see a dog wearing sunglasses and playing the saxophone. Next to him, there's a figure of a guitar too. Furthermore, our protagonist, off-key as always, starts singing a song. All of this already demonstrated the musical nature of the whole story that was about to unfold, since everything in it will revolve around music and dance. But we also noticed another very curious detail. Going back to the beginning of the episode, we can notice one of the most important characters of the show at the same restaurant. Cornelius seems to be alone eating something he doesn't quite understand what it is. In this episode, from what we can tell, it seems that Cornelius was still looking for love. Maybe he was even on a date, but we can't confirm that for sure. The funniest thing is that in this episode, we see the same girl with whom Cornelius would appear a few episodes later holding hands in Quiet Game. except that in reality, she's in the company of another sunglass-wearing dog. And since this happened earlier, it may indicate that she, at the time, was dating someone else. And perhaps she started dating Cornelius to forget the ex, which seems like it didn't work out very well, as later we see poor Cornelius looking like he's been abandoned, under a tree in the park, totally alone. But now he's very happy, as he's with the terrier's mom. And if you're also happy because Cornelius finally found his soulmate, celebrate by subscribing to our channel. That way, you won't miss our amazing upcoming videos. In the same episode, we can notice a very interesting reference to one of the most famous streamers on Vinesauce, a platform where various things are streamed, mainly games. This happens exactly when Bluey and her family are walking in the city center, and in the background, we see a dog wearing a black t-shirt with a skeleton printed on it, holding a blue can. This is a clear reference to the streamer Joel Varg Johansson, who has thousands of followers on his network, and one of his main logos is exactly a skull merged with the platform's logo, which is a green mushroom, called Varg Skeletor. And it seems that someone on the Bluey creation team is really a big fan of the platform, as we can see the streaming logo in toy form several times throughout the show's episodes, and I'll prove it to you. Do you remember seeing a plush green mushroom in any Bluey play or episode? Like, for example, it happens in the Sign episode where we see Bingo covered in plushies. And if we look closely, we'll notice that one of them is exactly the green mushroom. And as we all know, Bluey episodes are totally interconnected with each other, and this is demonstrated through small details that we see throughout the series. One proof of this is what we find under the couch cushion in the episode Cubby. When Bingo grabs the pillow where Bandit is sitting, we find something underneath. The Yes and No keychain, which is exactly the same remote that the little dog got in the dance mode episode that we mentioned just now, where she chose the moments when her parents should dance and embarrass themselves. And at that moment when the entire Healer family starts dancing because Bingo commanded, right at that moment when the busker is playing his music, if we look at the hat where people put their contributions, guess who's inside? The same $5 bill that Bluey herself had donated to the busker in the market episode. But the most intriguing detail of all of this is that we see the busker himself using this same bill in the Quiet Game episode to buy ice cream, which shows that the bill went around and ended up coming back to him once again. This is definitely one of the providential coincidences of Bluey that make this show so magical. And in the library episode, many people didn't notice, but one of the girls' favorite toys to play with is a copy of Grandpa Mort. We can see that it's a plush of a red healer, which despite resembling Chili a lot, is different from her because it has dark spots on both sides of its head, just like Grandpa Mort. So we can say that the girls have a mini Grandpa toy at home. And honestly, I think that's a great toy choice, which ends up reminding us of people who are special in our lives. That's why Bluey's show is so cool and teaches valuable lessons, even when we're looking for and finding its details and curiosities. And since we know you also enjoy watching different videos, we're leaving 2 amazing options for you to watch right now if you want. I heard the one on the left is really good, so enjoy!